On Fox News, just after the Charlie Hebdo Paris massacre, they had a discussion about how you can identify so-called typical bad guys, and Fox News anchor and Supreme Court correspondent Shannon Bream reacted to the terror attacks by suggesting that sometimes certain skin tones, certain skin colors, people of certain colors are more likely to be so-called bad guys than are others. This is from the Fox News program Outnumbered. Take a listen to this.
New York cops, I don't feel like they look at me as the enemy. I feel like New York cops, of all the cops in this country, you can go up to them and have a
You're
conversation.
You're not a bad guy, though. If I'm a bad guy, I see a heavily armed cop on the corner, I may decide not to do the bad thing I was thinking about doing.
Sometimes bad guys don't look like bad guys.
Right, and that's my question about these guys, because if we know they were speaking unaccented French and they had, ski masks on, do we even know what color they were, what the tone of their skin was? I mean, what if they didn't look like typical bad guys, as we define them when we think about terror groups?
Well, that's why this issue in New York is so important.
Right. So, Lewis, you have like the typical bad guy, right? A non-white guy, maybe a blah person, which could be, I actually figured out blah person means black, Latino, Asian, or Hispanic. That's actually what I think Rick Santorum meant when he said blah people. Could be a blah person. Those are kind of like the typical bad guys. And then you have kind of your run-of-the-mill typical good guy who's probably a white guy. Doesn't always happen, but generally speaking, we can get a sense of that. And if we can't see the color of their skin, as Shannon Bream and the gals over at Outnumbered suggest, if we can't see the skin color because they might have a mask on and they spoke French with no accent, it's harder to figure out whether they're good or bad because we just don't know what color they are.
Such a telling clip. And of course, you see this on Fox News. And I think some of the people there are a little taken aback when they hear this.
Yeah, you see some stunned faces there.
Yes, and they quickly pivot and try to get away from this. But yes,
they're like,
telling,
hey, this
funny.
Is Fox News. We're throwing the thinly disguised racist xenophobia out, but we're not just supposed to be out and out saying you can tell who's a bad guy by their skin color. Even Fox News was given pause as a result of that. And of course, this ignores that most of the terrorists doing terror in the U.S. happen to be white. Because then all of a sudden it would throw this theory upside down. Hey, you can tell the typical bad guy in the U.S. because he has white skin. Whoa, wait a second. That's unfair to white people. That's racial profiling, Lewis, and that's really bad.
Well, I think a lot of people do it. I think it's human nature to look at someone whose skin is different color than yours and just assume that they're different from you, or in some cases, assume that they're bad guys.
Yeah, and clearly that is exactly what is happening as a matter of policy, according to many people, that it is merely because of someone's skin that they are being ascertained or suspected of being criminal or somehow less good than someone else. And Shannon Bream saying that very, very directly, and she certainly seems to support that type of profiling. Next, we will talk to Frederick Clarkson about National Religious Freedom Day, and then the latest unemployment numbers. Will the Republicans take credit for them? Because remember, they're in control now. Or will they deny that the numbers are good? What will Republicans do? That's after the interview.